I'm Holly Madison, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hi, this is William Shatner, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. A reminder, by the way, tomorrow we're going to be playing the best of the Vegas Take. Taking the night off. We'll be back on Friday live, so don't worry. Your friends will be back. And another reminder, a week from tomorrow, Thursday, June 20th, we're broadcasting live the entire show. We'll be there from 5 to 8 p.m. Radicchio Grill. So that'll be a lot of fun. Free food and drink specials, chance to meet us. I'll bring a bulletproof vest with me. Hopefully I'll be okay. I think JD is safe. I think you'll be okay. You'll be fine.
There will be security, though.
Yeah. I'm going to wear a shirt that says...
For real.
I'm going to wear a shirt that says, "You are an idiot," so they'll know exactly who I am. Anyway, this is a treat. We've had him in studio before. I've known this guy for years. He's a great friend. He's one of the funnest people in this town to hang out with. That is hands down. And he is probably one of the most popular casino hosts on the planet, certainly here in Las Vegas. And he's got a book out called Whale Hunt in the Desert, The Secrets of a Vegas Superhost. I've read this book. It is awesome. And I'm going to give away a few copies this hour, so stay tuned for that. The man himself, Steve Cyr, joining us. Steve, thanks for being here.
JD, do I owe him money and I didn't know about it or what? That was
you owe me a couple grand. Yeah, you owe me. It's from the golf course. You owe me a couple thousand.
Yeah, it was close to 5.
Yeah.
And I found out today that Brian is a scratch golfer. That's a whole other discussion, but I had no idea.
A scratch golfer and a degenerate gambler. You've known that because you were my host at Hard
Rock.
Rock.
I knew the degenerate gambler part, and we can have other stories about that. But yeah, he likes to play.
I want to give a story about you to start this, and we have a lot to talk about. Your boxing career. I know BBC is going to be filming you and one of your clients this weekend. A lot to get to. But before we get, one of the first times I met you, you knew I was in radio. You were my host at the Hard Rock back in the day.
Right.
And you said, "Brian, I want to invite you to this party for some of my high rollers." And I said, "Oh, mate, free food and drinks, I'm down," right? I show up to this party at the Hard Rock. There's probably 25 hot supermodels everywhere.
40, I know the party you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe more. You give me these chips,
Correct.
And you say, "Look, they're trying to get those chips because the winner gets a cash prize. So they have to flirt with you, Brian. It's unbelievable. They come to you." I still talk to a few women from that party.
Really?
And I say to myself, you're like one of the only hosts that would think of doing something like that.
Thank you. You know, well, first of all, here's what I didn't like. When I was a younger host, you'd always have a bikini pageant, right? So you invite some high rollers in, and what do? They're a judge, whatever. They get to see some TNA, and that's it. No, everybody wants, look, JD, we can all relate to this. We want a shot. We want a chance. You're saying there's a chance. Am I right?
Exactly.
Okay, he's nodding. So what I did is I said, let's invite some high rollers, and I'm going to give everybody, I think it was, and they were phony chips, 1,000 in chips. Now, the girls, they have to come and solicit them.
Right.
You can't give more. I think there was a rule. You can't give more than 6 chips to a girl. Mm-hmm. And then she has a big glass box that she puts them in. And so we'd have different events. Could be cocktail hour, could be bikini hour, could be hang out at the pool. Guess what? To go to the next round for $10,000 and an FHM photo shoot, that was all on the square. Whoever got the most chips advanced. You might not be the hottest, but you can hustle the best. You've got to talk to every guy and get chips, and they have to interact, and, man, we made a lot of money.
Do you think there's a chance that anybody might have, any women, performed some sexual favors to win?
Yes, that definitely happened. And
why didn't that happen to me?
Well, maybe you didn't give enough chips.
Maybe you're not a good enough host. I don't know. That didn't happen to me.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things I can do, but some things you have to do on your own.
Be honest. Okay, but hold on a second. Be honest. Any of your clients ever say to you, "Hey, Steve, can you get me a couple hookers?" Be honest.
All the time. And
all
that's
the time.
in the book. Yeah. You know, if you have a Vegas phone book, it's full of what? Escorts and attorneys. Okay, being an escort is not illegal in Clark County. Okay, you can be an escort. What happens between you and that escort is between you. They pay a fee. Haven't you seen the mobile billboards called 696?
Of course. And then any extracurricular activity, I guess.
I've introduced friends, and that's it. I've had the game control board sit me in a room like this.
You don't have to give me names, but I know you've represented, you still represent some huge big name celebrities. Larry Flint, right, being one of them, and a few others.
Cool.
I'm not talking about Larry, but in general, have you ever had any big celebrities as your clients that have requested hookers? Has that happened? It has happened.
Yes,
before.
that has happened.
So Tom Cruise has done that. Is that what you're saying?
I've never had Tom Cruise, but yeah, okay. But no, you know, that the adult entertainment is what makes us different from all the Indian casinos. Remember when I started, you could only gamble in Nevada and New Jersey. Now it's in 48 states. The only place I can't work is Utah and Hawaii. Okay, so what makes us different than when you play in San Diego or Verona or Viejas or in Florida? It's the adult nightlife and entertainment. That's why the conventions come here. We need the adult nightlife, strip clubs, and the Raiders are going to change everything.
And you've been a host for how many years?
I started at 22, 33 years ago. Oh, my God. I was 22 years old, and I was
Steve,
a
you're getting
cash
old.
host at Caesars. If you bought in for $200, I was to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Steve Cyr, and invite you back for the next day champagne brunch.
So what is the weirdest request you've
Oh, my
ever
God.
gotten
I mean,
as a host? The weirdest, maybe you could give us a few.
The weirdest that I can talk about, I still
That
have
you
him
can
today.
talk about.
I have one player, and he wants his butter. It's a certain kind of yogurt, and the butlers have to strain it through cheesecloth. I don't know if it's what we catch or what goes through, and that's his butter on his sourdough toast. And he likes a certain type of toilet paper.
What a
It's
weirdo.
cotton now or something, and we have to have that. That's weird.
So that is weird. So somebody like a Larry Flint.
Well, I mean, it's like an artist writer,
Yeah, that's just bizarre.
something like that.
So somebody like a Larry Flint, how much is somebody like that betting per hand? Can you share that?
Yeah,
how much
well,
does a guy
it's-
like that bet?
Okay, it's, I have 17 right now active seven-figure players. That means they're going to risk $1 million on a weekend. And
What
that's a
kind of
lot.
percentage are you getting off of them?
I get in this jurisdiction, 16% of theoretical loss. So I hope you win, because what happens if you win, JD, you bet more, you play longer, hence higher theoretical. In other jurisdictions, only on loss. So I hope you win in Nevada and lose in California. And that's another thing.
Wait, so that's weird. So you're telling me in Nevada, and I like that. I want my host to root for me. I don't want it to be phony, right?
I don't want you to go blow 10 grand in 10 minutes. That doesn't help me. You need
Right.
to play right.
You
So I'll
need-
sit you down and say,
right.
Brian, quit splitting tens. Okay, just because she's hot, quit doing it. Don't do it. You've got 20, you're done, brother. Or you're too drunk, we're done.
So you can root for somebody in Nevada because you're actually making more money. The more they win, the longer they're probably going to play.
Correct.
But in California, that's not the case.
I get capped out. So on a $10,000 player, I can make up to 5% or $500. On a $100,000 player, $5,000.
What
On a
was
$1
your
million
biggest? What was your biggest win?
player,
Personally
I'm
for
not
you.
going to tell you my commission, but the car I'm driving,
gonna guess-
I bought it, my car with that, and put 6 figures in my daughter's
Yeah,
college
I'm going
account.
to guess
who
a couple
graduates
hundred.
next
I'm
week.
going to guess $250,000. That's what I'm going to guess. I could be wrong. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
So
I won't say
anyway,
that. I won't say that on the air.
So my best weekend in my career, I had one group go to the Super Bowl and they lost $7.2 million.
Okay,
So that's cool.
but hold on a second. Let's just say you have a client, for example, that loses $5 million,
right.
and they're probably worth 50. But that's still a lot of money. We're talking about maybe 5% of their entire bankroll.
You mean if it hurt him? If I know it hurt
Well,
him?
if you know it hurt them, let's just say it happens in California. The guy loses $5 million, and let's just say you're getting, 15% of that. So you're walking away.
10. I'd get $500,000.
Okay, so let's just say you just made $500,000 in 2 days.
A lot of my guys
How
at
do you
that
walk away from
level,
that?
first of all, I'll split my commissions with them. It's an edge. They might not like me, but I'm going to give them an edge. So you can go with a regular host that gets a little salary, but with me, I'm going to give you 8% of your theoretical loss back, and I claim every dollar.
So you're taking that out of your...
Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
Okay, so that's cool.
You lose $1 million, you get a 10% commission. You pay $900, but guess what? You lose $1 million. I made $100. I'll give you another $50. It's an extra 5%.
So I have
You're
a
a
friend.
businessman.
I understand, but I have a friend of mine. Well, not really a friend of mine. I used to talk to him.
Acquaintance.
You probably know who this is too. I won't say his name on the air, but anyway, he used to represent this guy at the Hard Rock. Anyway, so
you're killing me
he
now.
had
I wanna
I'll
know.
tell you after.
All right.
So he had a deal at Mandalay Bay. This is what he told me, and I believe it to be true, where he played craps, and if he lost, he would get a 30% payback on his losses. He told me he destroyed them in about a year and a half. He won 7 figures, and because of that deal that his host put together for him, 3 people were fired.
Mathematically, that doesn't work out. You can't make any money if I'm giving you 30% back because a lot of people win. So if that did, I don't think it's true, but if it did really happen, I believe people got fired because they were idiots that did that kind of deal.
I know another guy through a friend that used to play at Caesar's Palace, and this guy was a 7-figure player. He demanded that the dealers eat lobster while he played craps, reserve the table for him. He would pick up the dice. I saw this. He picked up the dice. And he tipped like crazy, by the way. He took care of those dealers. Thousands and thousands of dollars rolls. Insane, right? He probably tipped them out hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a year. He picks up the dice, and this guy was nuts. Probably a billionaire, I would imagine. Picks up the dice. He throws it across the casino and then screams, "I want the same effing dice."
No, that happens all the time. And those kind of requests happen a lot. I have one guy that when we play Baccarat, my daughter was just in Vegas with me, and all he wanted was bacon. This guy's betting $25,000 a hand, and Savannah was freaking out because he's betting $25,000 a hand. He just wanted bacon. I mean, we ate like a lot of bacon. It was unbelievable. But at my level, Brian, I'm not concerned about discount. on $1 million player, can they split aces 4 times? Can they double down after a split? All that kind of stuff. If they lose $1 million, do they get a discount? Yes, if he pays me in 30 or 60 days. You know, in dice, can he get 3, 4, 5 real 3, 4, 5 times odds? In roulette, he wants a single zero rule.
That's a big difference.
All those rules reduce our hold percentage of what we can win and help him. So
There's a lot of casinos now that do not play true odds on blackjack. They will pay you 6 to 5, which is insane. They already have a huge advantage.
Sad.
What do you think of that?
I'd rather go to Ellis Island and get a real game.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's sad. And it's sad, too, now, have you noticed, too, at Caesars, I can pick on them, when you place video poker, you have to earn your drink comp. Man, when I sit down,
That's
put in my
ridiculous.
20, give me a beer. No, you have to earn it, and it prints you a comp. I call them limp dicks in my book because it is. The corporations are killing us, and that's why a lot of my players go to California.
You know, I'll tell you a story, Steve. I play pretty big over at Westgate. I'm pretty big. I'm talking 7 figures a year plus. And I have a bachelor party coming to town in September. And I need a couple of 3-bedroom villa or 1-bedroom villas for 3 nights in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
They have the biggest suites in the world.
They're trying to charge me $3,000.
Well, who's your host?
For 3 of those for 3 nights.
You're getting bent over.
I mean, how would you handle that situation?
Well, it depends, JD. If first of all, if it's over Super Bowl or New Year's Eve, I love you, but you know, best player wins.
We're talking middle of September.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to comp that, and I would go to the host and say, then I'm going to take my business someplace else. It's the softest cost I have.
And you used to work at the Westgate for a while.
I was vice president there, and I did a 1-year deal, 2015, 16, and then a decade. That's where I kind of made my mark, was at the Westgate.
What do you make of that property? I know you're not there anymore. Here's my opinion on that property. First of all, completely and utterly mismanaged. Okay, I think it is a beautiful property. Once upon a time, that was the Bellagio, or whatever the best casino is now.
Yeah.
That was the property, right? They were making movies there. It was
Kerry Packer betting $100,000 a hand in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. First of all, they don't get any big action there anymore. There's no big action there anymore, number one.
First problem, Brian, is that timeshare is first. Mr. Siegel doesn't have a gaming, so a separate company runs the gaming. There's the first problem, and always where he wants that room revenue. I want to comp that room. It's a Wednesday. We're at 50% occupancy. Nope, I need $180 for that room. I'm going to comp it. It's a made to clean at $30. A guy loses $3,000. I can't comp his room. That was my struggles. That's why I left after a year. So that's the first problem. It's a timeshare first.
Are you paying attention to Circa Sports, Circa Las Vegas?
Love Derek Stevens.
Me too.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of that?
How do you think he'll do in this market?
Wonderful, and all my customers want an excuse. Like the Golden Nugget is an excuse to go downtown. The D's fun and all that, but Circa is going to be a new excuse, and it's a new niche, and I think it's going to do better than anybody thinks. And that's not because I'm a fan of Derek Stevens. It's because my advantage is I talk to players every day. It's all I do. 7 days a week. I talk to the guy with $5,000 and $500,000, and they're like, "Oh man, I heard about that Circa. Oh man."
How do you think the Raiders organization and the Raiders coming here is going to affect your business and what you do?
Already players that hate me. I'm not making this up. There's 2 guys from Dallas that told me to F off. I'm never, I lose players because they're broke, they're sick of gambling, or they're sick of Steve. The third one doesn't happen often, but it happens, okay? And they're calling me to say, hey, if they play the Cowboys. I mean, I'm like, you guys, that's in 2020. Yeah, we know, but they're planning their trips now to come to Vegas, and they're season ticket holders, but they can't wait to come to the away game to Vegas. And they're like, and we're going to be able to bet the game in-game while we're sitting in our seats. I'm like, absolutely, you're in the four walls of Nevada. It's huge, you guys. It's huge. I can't comprehend it. It's huge.
You think Davis is a gambler? Anybody from the Raiders organization reach out to you that you've represented?
All I can say is I really hope to be, and you know the story, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. I hope to be with that organization. So that's all I'm going to say. And I can tell you this: I've had 4 interviews.
Do you think this is going to happen where we will see an NFL player trying to disguise himself, or maybe somebody from an organization? I think this is going to happen. Walk into a sports book and make a really dumb mistake and place a bet on a football game. Maybe not a player, but maybe someone associated with a player. I think this is going to happen. I think there's going to be a scandal eventually.
You know what proxies are?
Yeah.
For our listeners,
Right.
that's a legal way you can be out of town, and proxies can bet for you.
That's why the Superbook contest is so big.
Right, because I can be in Kansas and I can still bet every week because I have a legal proxy betting for me.
You don't gamble, do you? Or if you do gamble, you put $20
bit.
in a machine.
No. If I'm going to gamble, I like dice because that's the only time you have an advantage over the casino, 7 out. And I do like to bet sports because then I can blame the rest of the team, and it takes a few hours. So I don't mind putting $1,000 on the nights and going to the hockey game. I think that's fun.
What's the worst thing that happened to one of your clients? I mean, I would hope it wouldn't be suicide, but what is the worst? Like, did they lose their wife? Did they lose their family? I mean, can you give us a sad story?
One in the
I don't
book.
mean to laugh about
No,
it,
in the book, there's a picture of me, and I had a player, Fast Eddie, we changed his name for the book, and my deal with him, I worked on him to get him 3 years. As long as he risked $1 million 1 month, and that'd be about every other month, I would take him anywhere in the world he wanted to go. I got to go to the Super Bowl. I got to go to Jamaica whitewater rafting for his 78th birthday. I got to go to Costa Rica. I got to go to Greece on a yacht for a week, little islands.
Wow.
He got murdered.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, over a sports bet.
Oh.
In Costa Rica, and they bludgeoned him to death. Yeah, that's a bad story. So for those of you that are fans of the book, thank you. The first book, Fast Eddie, was alive and fine, and I'm traveling. Then that was in 2004. 2015 was the third book. And
we're going to give out your book here in a few minutes. Gosh, that is scary.
Yeah. That was
what
bad.
do you make of the whole Michael Jordan situation with what happened to his dad? And a lot of people speculated that was gambling related when his dad was murdered. And then Michael Jordan takes a year off from basketball to play baseball, which I think was BS. I think he was suspended. That's what I think. That's what I've heard from some really good NBA sources.
I haven't heard that.
I've heard sources from some really good people.
I have
including
also not heard that.
Trainers from some teams have told me that. Guys who have played with him told me.
He just gave you evil eye, by the way.
Well, I mean this is what I've heard. I've heard this. I could name some sources. It was somebody that played with him that told me this. It was their trainer that told me this. I've heard from other NBA people that are close to Michael Jordan with the Wizards that told me this, that they said that he was gambling on some of his own games. He got caught, and that Stern allegedly said, that's it, we don't want to make this public, but you're going to have to leave the game for a year, do whatever you want to do, and come back. And that's why he went to baseball, and it had nothing to do with his father, and it had everything to do with his gambling addictions and the fact that he bet on games like Pete Rose did in baseball.
Wow, I have not heard that. I can say, I was his host for a couple years at the Hilton, and he was a cool guy, great guy, and no, he was not a stiff and Pippen, but not Michael.
So when somebody like Michael Jordan gives you a call and he says, hey, Steve, I'm coming to town, what does he ask for? What does a guy like Michael Jordan ask for?
Limits, because he's still a businessman and he wants an edge on the game, okay, and he wanted to double deck and not a shoe, and he knew the rules, okay, so that was cool. Also, he wanted to be private most of his times. Like, he wanted to we have semi-private rooms, you can't make them totally lock it down back then. And that was about it. And really good food.
No hookers for Michael Jordan. Is that what you're saying?
No golf? No golf outings? No golf sessions?
There was golf, and one time against a president of a property that is in town, and there were 6 figures bet on the golf course. And I that's not secondhand, because I was the courier that had to go pay off when he lost.
How much money do I have to be betting with you right now to say, hey, Steve, I want to play Shadow Creek tomorrow? How do you pull that off?
Well, back in the day, Steve Wynn was the first one to say, hey, I had $1 million player, and he said, no, if you want to play my golf course, you got to play at my casino. I mean, Steve Wynn was, great at that and really using that asset. Back in the day, Shadow Creek was, it was it. And I lost a lot of players to Shadow Creek, unfortunately. And, I was at the Hilton. You could walk to the Las Vegas Country Club. We had 10 tee times a day.
Yeah, we're still playing there. I'm actually, they're actually taking care of me over there, believe it or not. One of my favorite movies is Casino. I love that movie. And when you see some of that stuff about back in the day with Oscar Goodman and a lot of these politicians getting comped and, the guy getting bludgeoned because he was cheating.
Politicians was 80s and 90s. I started in 87, and there's a lot of politicians
when you
comped.
see a movie like that, do you see a movie and say, that stuff really did happen?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Really?
100%. I don't know about all the, killings and stuff, but what's his name did get chopped up in the cornfield. That part was true,
Spilotro?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anthony Spilotro.
Yeah, Lefty Rosenthal.
Remember back then, guys, we didn't have the slot card. Oh, I know Brian and JD. Yeah, comp them. I didn't have to sign it to an account number and then go in the computer and print a damn comp, and my signature. I could give you a quarter. When I was 27, which is scary, I could give you $250,000 credit line as long as there's ink in the pen and you got an ID. That's what I'd say to somebody. You want credit? Great, give me an ID.
Aren't the casinos, though, some of the worst to owe money to because they will put the hammer on
state. I had a girl that owed $4,000. We'll call her Miss D.
Mm-hmm.
$4,000 and showed it to the Cosmo. And at 6 months, a marker goes stale. And a marker, for our listeners, that's just a fancy word for a check.
So you have 6 months to pay it.
Correct. Okay. And then I have to send it to the DA. And I said, Miss D, I got to send it to the DA. Oh, I'll pay. Well, she didn't. I tried. I said, send me $300 a month. We can cut any deal we want. She's driving to L.A. with her 6-year-old in the back. Ooh, gets pulled over for speeding.
Oh, no.
She gets cuffed. Child goes to Child Protective Custody. She sits 3 days over the weekend in L.A. County Jail, then extradited on a bus for 4 days to Clark County, and then the DA taxed on 10% and paid $4,400, which she had on her. So a marker, I mean, that gives us strength. I had a player at Verona lose almost $500,000, and I don't get paid unless he pays his marker. He stiffed him because they don't enforce gambling debts. They can draw your TRW, which he didn't give
Where
a
was this
crap
again?
about. At Verona.
$500,000 he didn't pay?
Well, one guy stiffed Verona for $3 million. That's why they don't give out a lot of credit. In California, they don't recognize gaming debts criminally.
So it's like a
just
credit
civilly.
card, basically, there.
Right.
And they can't really go after you.
So
they can try to take you to
I can't go
court.
buy a new house, but right.
And it can take years to settle a civil
But
case.
let me tell you, in Nevada, over $4,000, your kid goes to Child Protective Custody, and you sit on a bus in Nevada. We have them by the.
Oh,
Can I
my
say
God,
nuts?
that's the gonads.
You
Wow,
can,
you
can say nuts.
Okay, we have them by the nuts and that's what gives us strength.
Do you
because-
have any of your former clients that are right now in jail for that reason?
Yes.
How many?
Probably half a dozen, and I've testified in probably 40 cases.
Isn't that a
with
little
markers.
weird for you? I mean, this
I have
is
a lot of. I mean, you just think. I mean, I've got a lot of players.
I know.
Players are power.
I know, but Steve, hold on a second. You're
Look,
in
they're
court.
going to gamble anyway. They might as well
You're
gamble
facing
with me.
a guy that maybe was your friend or maybe wasn't, right? A guy or girl. And you worked with them. You were comping them food and rooms and stuff. And now
I'm
you're
encouraging
testifying.
them is what you're
And-
saying.
Well, but now I'm not blaming you, but I'm just,
understand.
but I'm saying now you're testifying in a way against them in court, knowing that they're going to go to
say,
jail.
I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm the gaming expert that says, well, an essential credit is like their TRW. Well, you've had credit for 17 years at 34 clubs, and you keep 6 figures in the bank, and I beat you out of about 400,000, and you didn't know what you were doing. I have about 160 markers that you signed, paid and played.
But you know that some of your clients are, some of them have gambling problems.
Okay, let's be honest. A third of my customers, Montel, Larry Flint, they're so rich, it's not going to change your life.
Montel has that much money, really?
Yeah, he's on TV a long time.
You think he's worth $500 million?
No.
Not
no,
that
no,
much.
no. But just a great guy. What I'm saying is, if Montel loses 10 grand, it's not going to affect his lifestyle.
Right.
Okay. If Larry Flint loses $1 million, it's not going to affect his lifestyle.
Sure.
So that's a third. The other third, as their age and wealth increase, my biggest player now used to bring 50,000. Now that's his average bet. He's my age. We met at 22. As his age and wealth increase, his gaming increase.
Wow.
The other third, which is the funnest and who I hang out with the most, should not be gambling. They should not be here. They're way above their means. They're going to be burned out. They're going to go bad. But they're the funnest. So that's a third, and that's real accurate. I have about 200 active $25,000 to $100,000 players. I don't have thousands of players. That's all BS if some host says that. And then I have about 70 guys that'll blow 100 grand, and then my top 12. That's all you need.
Holy
I'm only one guy,
And you have 6 guys right now that are behind bars.
Yep.
That you
Correct.
used to represent because they didn't pay.
And one I go, and he's in Clark County, and we can put like $20 on his little food thing.
But that's 6 in 32 years. That's one every 5 years.
I understand
It's not
that.
like it's a
Thank you,
lot.
JD, for the stats.
No, but I mean it's just fascinating to me. That's crazy.
I brought wings.
He did bring wings. He did.
gotta
Those
play the
wings are
tablet.
Yes.
ridiculously
Well,
good.
when we come back, I want to talk to you, Steve, about your boxing career, your amateur boxing career. I want to talk about that. I know that the BBC is going to be filming you, so you're going to be wearing your Sunday best this weekend, I would imagine. I want to get to that. And I want to talk about your books and how you can. But before I get to that, why don't we give away one of your books right now?
Excellent.
Before we take a break, I'll tell you what we'll do. When we come back, we'll take some calls at 257-5396. Steve is going to ask you a trivia question. I'm going to put Steve on the spot. And if you could answer the question right, you are going to win a signed copy of his book, which is awesome, by the way, Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Superhost. So give us a call right now if you want to win this book. You're going to have to answer a question. 257-5396. Again, that number to call is 702-257-5396. Give us a call, and we will take those questions and answers when we come back. Again, 257-5396. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. Welcome back. It is The Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. We have super host Steve Cyr in studio, one of the most popular hosts on the planet, certainly here in Las Vegas. And he's got a book out called Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Superhost. And I am going to give you guys a chance right now as listeners to win a signed copy of this book. All you got to do is call into the number right now, which is 257-5396. Again, that number one more time, 702-257-5396. You call into the show. Steve is going to ask you a question, a trivia question. If you get the answer right, you get a signed copy of his book. Again, that number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's start off with Rick. Rick, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you?
I am doing good, Rick. Okay, so you were on with Steve Cyr. I'm putting Steve on the spot. He's going to ask you a trivia question. Here we go, Steve. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Rick, first of all, are you a gambler?
I work in a casino, and I've been in town for like 59 years, but I'm ready to turn 67, so I hope it's something that I can remember.
No, but do you gamble personally? I know you work in the casinos.
I do gamble. I do gamble sometimes.
All right, so I'll give you two chances. One, I don't know if you've read the first or second edition. This is the third edition of the book, but where am I from? I'm definitely not a Nevada boy. I am now, but where did I grow up?
You know what? I'm not gonna be able to do that one because I read out of Taco Bell. I heard this and I read it. Taco Bell came out and I didn't get on the beginning of the show, so I'm not looking too good.
Were you in the restroom? Or were you in the restroom after Taco Bell? Is that why you missed it, or?
No.
All right. How about an?
Well, wait. Hold on a second.
Okay.
He went to Taco Bell. I want to know what he ordered, Steve. Did you get the chalupa? What did you get?
No, I went to Burrito Supreme.
Oh, well, there's your problem. You got to go with the steak chalupa, my friend. Come on.
That's not a bad
Oh, my God,
selection.
that costs a lot of money.
Do you think that, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. Do you think their ads when they say cross the border, do you think Taco Bell, do you think that's a racist ad, Rick?
No, and you know what? As a sideline, I knew Bill Ullman when he first came to Vegas and started Taco Bell. That was my first legal job.
Fair. Okay, I like Rick.
I like Rick too.
Go ahead, Steve. Ask Rick. I want you to get it right. Go ahead.
If I have $10 in roulette and my number hits, number 17, that's my number in roulette, how much am I going to get paid?
700.
He said 700. Is that? Don't look at me, Steve. You're the one asking the questions.
No, it's 35 to 1. It'd be 350.
Oh, 350. Oh, shit.
Sorry, you missed it.
Oh, my
Next
God,
caller.
I can't believe this shit. You got me
I'm
nervous.
sorry, Rick. We got to
I wanted to make sure I didn't say $20.
Rick, it's
Yeah.
fine. You did okay. Please call in again.
Rick's biggest problem is he went to Taco Bell. He's got a sugar rush and he had the Baja Blast and he's not feeling very well. Okay, that number to call again if you want to be a part of the show and ask Steve Cyr a question. If you get it right, we will win you a signed copy of Steve's book, which is an awesome book, by the way. I've read it myself. Some great stories in here. Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Soup Roast. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Let's go to JD. JD, what's up? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I just woke up. Avenatti put me to sleep, and I heard you had this Steve fella on. Steve, I got comped by Wingy. I don't know if you ever heard of him at Caesar's Palace to the Chateau,
Yes.
the Palace Court.
Yes.
He comped me to Sinatra. I got comped at the Sultans of Dunes or whatever, at the Dunes restaurant over there.
I was there in the
Delmonico,
80s.
the Delmonico room at the Riviera, the Sands, the Copa room, the Hilton, the whole schmear.
JD, I'm going to be honest with you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't know if I'm rooting for you because, but that's okay. Steve, go ahead.
All right. Here's a trivia question. What do we call, what's the slang term in dice when we want an 11 to come out? What do we say?
11.
Yo, baby. That's right. Okay.
That was a ridiculous question.
All right.
Give me a couple more.
Come on.
All right. What about just me? Where am I from? I thought everybody would know
Steve,
that.
I'm pretty good. You don't have an accent like I do, but I've been here 42 years. I'm gonna guess. It's a wild
Okay.
hair up my butt guess. I'm gonna say, where did you work first of all before you came here? May I ask you that?
Well, no, I moved here to go to UNLV. I transferred and was supposed to go back to this place and run my dad's Howard
There you
Johnson
go, Steve.
Motel.
You just won your own book.
Where did you work?
No, I
when you
didn't
came?
say where.
I know.
Okay. No, but I just want to know where did I grow up? I'm not a Nevada native.
I know. I'm asking you a question. Could you tell me where you worked?
No. You're not allowed to ask Steve questions,
I'm only
JD.
asking. I'm not demanding.
He's trying to handicap the situation.
JD,
I will allow it.
JD, all right, fine. Inside
ahead.
information. Go ahead. I know what you're doing, JD. I know what you're up to.
Wait, what was the question?
He wants to.
Where did you work before you came here? What kind of business?
In a motel that my dad
In a
owned.
motel.
That's it, JD. No more inside information,
Well,
Steve.
you got
come on.
You got a smooth talk. You're not from New Jersey. You're not from New York. You're probably a well-educated guy. I'm going to guess Florida.
No, incorrect.
Oh, I'm sorry, JD. Dun, dun, dun,
JD, it was a solid, conscious effort at a filibuster.
Sorry.
I never saw the ocean until I was like 18.
257-5396. Your chance to win Steve Cyr's book, Whale Hunt in the Desert. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's up?
Hey, Brian.
Not too much. Just out in Vegas, trying to have a good time and looking to have some fun.
All right, Brian. I'm glad you called, my friend Steve Cyr. Ask away. Good luck.
Go ahead, Brian.
No. What do you mean? You're asking him a question.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Steve is losing his mind.
Where am I from?
There you go.
I believe you grew up in New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken.
No, sorry, never been.
Give him
to New
another
Hampshire,
question. I like Brian. He seems like a smart guy.
All
Give
right.
him another chance.
Do you gamble, Brian?
A little bit. Say a little 21 slots, a little bit.
Okay. Right. What does when I say a dice game has 3, 4, 5 times odds? What does that mean?
It means you could win 3 or 4 or 5 times.
No. If I have $10 and the point is 8, how much odds can I put behind it?
Good question. I know the answer.
Wow.
I'm a degenerate.
It varies on every bet.
No,
I'm sorry, Brian. We got it. I'm
3
sorry.
times or 4
5
times.
times. 5 times
on the 6 and
5
8.
times on the 6 and the 8. 4 times on the 5 and 9. 3 times on the 4.
These are next level degenerate questions. I don't even know the answers.
Oh,
to
come on. That's not a difficult
one. On the 4 and 10,
you
have 3 times, and 4 times 5 times.
Just ask JD a slot question. Trust me, he'll get all those right. It's bonus poker. I will too. 257-5396 is the number to call. All right, we need a winner here. Let's go to Andy. Andy, you're on with Steve Cyr. How are you, Andy?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Doing good, Andy. Thank you for calling in. I wish you good luck, my friend. All right, Steve Cyr, ask away. Ask him something different. Nobody cares where you're from. Where are you from, by the way?
Kansas.
But I know where you're from, dude.
Where?
You're from Kansas.
But where in Kansas, then, I guess, since I already said it.
Is it Salina, Kansas?
Wow, very good. That was good. That's
you know what, Andy, let's quit while you're ahead, my friend. You just want a free book, okay? So we're gonna put you back on hold. We're gonna get you information. All right, Andy. Congratulations.
And Wikipedia is a great thing.
All right, we're gonna get Andy's information, and Andy just won your book.
That was easy.
We got a lot of callers here. A lot of people want your book.
Okay.
We only have one more book to give away.
Okay.
So make it a hard one. Okay, make it a hard question. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. Who is our next caller, Johnny? I'm not sure who the next caller is. Who do we got coming up here, Johnny? Who's next? We'll give out. So we have one caller who called in who wants to know where you can buy the book. So why don't we answer that question?
Amazon.com. It's real easy.
All right.
Or Huntington Press locally.
All right. So go to Amazon.com if you can book. If you'd like to purchase the book.
Right.
But we're asking questions here at 257-5396, and if you get the answer, you win a free book. Who's next? Who am I going to here? We just have a question. Okay, so if you would like to win this book, you can call in and ask Steve Cyr a question. I don't have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
But if you would like an opportunity to actually win the book, you have to call up and you have to be willing to get the answer wrong or right. It's a competition. But we will take a few calls as well for people that just want to go on and ask you questions. That's fine. Let me give out the number one more time. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Wilfrey. Wilfrey, what's up? You're on with Steve Cyr.
Hey, Bob.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Mr. Cyr, first of all, congratulations on your accomplishments, number one.
Thanks.
It's an interesting interview, I might add. 2 questions. First of all, give us an idea of the various games, baccarat, roulette, dice. I don't do dice, but give us an idea of the personalities and the things that are differential about those. And then the next question is this. Everything seems to be moving to electronic plays, which I call dealerless wheels or dealerless engagements, but they're not truly dealerless. And where do your people go? Do they stay as far away from those? Because if you get involved with dealers always want to get into the game. And do you remember the term cooling the mark? And I'll get off of here and not take up time on the station.
Very good questions. First of all, yes, cooling the mark, and I'm still superstitious, and I still put sometimes when I want a player to lose because maybe he's being an ass, I'll put his name in the freezer, and that's just a whole other story. But, okay, you made really good points. And my players, even the young ones, they want that dealer interaction, and that's why all the party pits are so popular, and you have the hot girl, because like Derek Stevens, he's got go-go dancers they're go-go dancers first, and he trains them to be dealers. That human interaction, the dice is more of the whole personality, because we're all winning or we're all losing. In blackjack, JD might be winning every hand, and I'm losing every hand, and I hate the dealer, and he likes the dealer. So dice is more of a community thing. And so my guys that are really social are dice players, and women too. And all of a sudden lately, I have a lot more female dice players. Matter of fact, my biggest female player will be in Saturday, and she plays roulette. And you know why? Because roulette's a social thing. Because you're happy when somebody finally hits their number. You know, it's kind of all win or sink or swim.
I'm not.
Thing.
I get upset when people win and I lose. I get angry at them. I'm envious, and I call them luck boxes, and I mutter swears to myself.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at the supermarket and I put in some money in a machine, and I get up and maybe I'll move to another machine, and I see somebody hit on the machine. I really swear.
Why?
I get so
because
angry.
you think it was your jackpot, which you know it's a random generator.
They stole it from me.
I mean, okay.
Well, one time there was a situation where Brian.
Are you really that way?
I'm brutal when I gamble.
He's
I'm
way
worse
than that. So there's a situation where Brian and I were at we were at a bar or a restaurant playing video poker. I had just lost about $600 to $800 at one machine. So Brian was at his machine. He stepped over to my machine after I left. Within 5 minutes, he had hit an $8,000 royal flush.
It's a true story.
But you know it's spinning thousands of hands every second.
Absolutely.
So I mean, okay. But yeah, I understand. So when you were stuck to 800, were you out of bankroll or you stopped?
Well, I just stopped.
Can I ask you? Okay, let's ask a question on this. Okay, now that you brought this up, JD, not me. Okay, so I hit $8,000. He's absolutely right. He lost 800. As soon as
you're playing $10 a hand, then $2.
Yeah. As soon as I hit, I look because he was very angry. Okay, he's my friend. I look at myself.
Out.
I said, "How much did you lose?" He says, $800. I said, "Fine, I'm going to give you $800."
Wow, he's going to give back
Guess
your
what he did?
Initial bankroll.
Yeah. Guess what he did?
That was cool.
Yeah, it was. Guess what he did? He gets angry at me and he storms out and he demanded $4,000. You brought it up.
You
brought it up,
that
not
was
me.
wrong, JD. You know, for your boy to even offer you to get you whole.
I thought that was a nice thing to do.
No, just to get you whole and you could go take another shot somewhere. Yeah, that was wrong. That was
valid.
wrong.
At the time, it was probably my second time ever playing video poker.
First of all, he's going to get
I didn't have a lot of experience
tax-free.
with it at the
He's
time.
going to get hit taxes on
Right,
the
exactly.
$8,000.
Right, exactly. I was actually very angry at him. I was extremely.
We had a 24-hour debate.
I was on a date. I was on a date at the time, and she's hugging me, and we're all happy. And then it was actually kind of funny. I can laugh about it now.
How many times have you two broke up over the years?
Broke up? Well, I've only known him like a year and a half.
Okay,
he cheated on me about 3 weeks ago. But no, seriously. He storms out of the bar, and she looks at me and she goes, "What's up with your friend? Why is he so angry? He should be happy for you." I'm like, "I don't know, man." So anyway, long story short, I was pissed, but the next day I gave him $500 and we made up and everything was all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to give your bankroll back, I've actually had big players with other players at the table, and they're just really cold, and they've done that same thing. Like, okay, you're stuck 2,000. I just won 30. I'm going to give you your two back so you can take a shot.
But to JD's, I will defend him in this aspect. He's new to this town. At that time, he was very new to slot machines. He didn't understand if there is such a thing as slot etiquette. He didn't understand
I really
the slot
didn't.
etiquette.
And I wasn't down long term. So say I had hit 8,000, I would have definitely given Brian. At the time, not knowing how difficult it is to actually hit something like that, how not often it happens, I would have definitely given Brian
all I ask
8,000 if he was down or whatever he was down.
Okay, but my question is, and a lot of slot players do this, is it understood that you're partners when you go out and play? Hey, if I hit something,
no, unless we split money together.
It was understood. Brian did ask me, and I did say.
Wait, I got a no and a yes.
Well, no, because we had
never had that conversation.
We had done it before. No, he did. He asked me, and I said no. I turned it down. I did turn it down. But he asked me to go half and
I
half.
don't recall that. Let me ask you a question.
That did happen.
The next time, if you ever win 8,000, am I going to get reimbursed that $500?
Ooh.
Oh, that's an absolute, of course.
Okay, that's fair then. Eventually, it's going to happen. You might lose a couple $100,000, but eventually it'll happen.
$2 video poker, that's a mini baller. I mean,
I agree. Yeah. I agree. 257-5396 is the number to call. If you'd like to win Steve Cyr's new book, he's going to ask you a question. You have to give an answer, and if you answer it correctly, we have one more book to give away. However, we do have some people on hold, I believe, Johnny, that want to ask Steve a question. Is that correct? Do I have that right? Okay, let's start with Rick. Rick, what's up? Go ahead. You're on with Steve Cyr.
Oh, I'm back, third time, Taco Bell Rick.
Oh, you're back again. Okay, you got a question for Steve? Go ahead.
Again. You know what? Here's something that I think you'll agree on. If two people are playing the mega bucks, the person that pays the taxes is the person that hit the button when it hits. Is that correct?
Correct. We watched the tape, and I've been on shift several times. Yep.
Yes.
Whoever pulls the handle, hits the button, that's who we pay.
Yes. Correct.
Yep.
All right, Rick.
Nice question.
All right, Rick. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Hey,
257.
I'm going to get your book. I think it's going to be a hell of a book. I really do.
It is. It is, Rick. Definitely buy it. It's a great read. 257-5396. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Not too much. Just a quick question. I was wondering how one would get into hosting, or if there's any training, or if
Good question.
Steve might offer any kind of.
Great question. Mine was easy because UNLV and my internship, I got to work at the Barbary Coast, and when I was in surveillance on the catwalk, I decided I wanted to be a casino host because the night audit I'd screwed up, and I loved the energy on that. There's a lot of places that will take break-in hosts, we'll call, and you're on the floor and you cut in. Obviously players are power, and if you know players and you live out of state, I'd get your license and become a licensed junket rep. I'm rare that I live in Vegas, but I represent casinos all over the country. My business model is I'm one-stop shopping for the high roller. You're freezing your ass off in New York? Great. Well, I'll put you on a cruise line or send you down to Baja Mar.
Brian, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you because we love our listeners so much, and since that was such a good question, since you are interested in this field of work, I am going to give you a free signed copy of Steve Cyr's book. What do you think about that?
Beautiful.
All right. So hang on the line. Sure, you got it. Hang on the line, and our producer, Johnny, will get you information. Okay, thanks, Brian. Appreciate the call. Let's take one more call.
Okay.
Let's take one more call, and then our own. Well, I'd like to see you play this game with my co-host, J.D. Sharp, actually. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go to Gary. Let's take sports. Let's take one more call. Gary, what's up?
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I missed Steve Cyr. I guess he left, but that's okay.
No, he's not.
Here.
He's still
I'm
here.
Hey, Brian. How
He's
are you,
still
buddy?
Good. I just want to answer just one question. I don't need a signed book. I'm an old fart, and I respect everything you say. I enjoy this interview. I want to know, are the slot machines a pure game of chance, or are they slightly rigged and fixed? Everybody wants to know that answer to that.
And I have the answer. First of all, we have a set hold percentage, and so we don't tighten them up if it's going to be a busy weekend. How we manipulate it, and since JD plays video poker, he'll understand. Say a Royal pays 4,000 coins, 4,000 quarters or $4,000. A 9-6 payout machine, if you hit a full house, you should get 45 quarters or dollars. Well, guess what? The ones by the bar where the hot girls are only pays 30. So you and JD are both playing the same game. He hits a full house in the sports book where the locals play. He gets $45. You hit it by where the hot girls are, by they're all dancing. You only get $30. You're getting ripped off $15. That's how we manipulate.
But you can see the payouts. Gaming laws require.
Correct.
Yeah.
But as far as is it random, 100%. Every game's on the square. We just control the payouts.
There you go, Gary. You got anything else?
One time, I won the most sitting at the bar, and one time the guy he hits 4 aces, and 2 seconds later I hit 4 aces. Next thing I know, the bartender orders the guy to open both machines up and change the paper, and he says something about we're in the business of making money around here, and we're all looking at each other. What's that all about? Okay, great show. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Hey, thanks a lot, Gary.
I don't know if that really has anything to do with anything.
Quality call.
I gotta buy Gary a drink. Well,
so Steve, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
We've all seen the movie where William H. Macy plays
the cooler.
The cooler.
Yeah.
Is the cooler a real thing? And give me an example of that.
Okay, back in the day, yes, and even in the 80s when I worked, we had a lot of shills, okay, and those were game starters, okay? And so I did have one casino boss who's no longer with this wonderful guy, and he would change dealers, he would change shift bosses. You might come in and you've been on graveyard for 3 years, now you're on day shift. You're on day shift, you've got a family, now you're on graveyard. And he did have certain floormen that he would come in. But this is back in the days. He was very superstitious, and they would have floormen that were coolers. And we have what we call house dealers. That's still today. Oh, man, you can't win with Brian. No way. I mean, he's not a house dealer. And then we'd have dealers that we know no one can beat him. So
dealers even though nothing.
So I mean, is that just is that energy momentum based?
I don't know. I just know a couple dealers that are at the Palms, and I'm telling you, you can't win a hand with them.
I'll tell you,
20's not good enough. 20's not good enough. You get a 20, they're going to have a 7 and a 4. I mean,
I'll tell you my superstitions with dealers. First of all, I hate dealers that are really fast. They take your money fast. So when they're dealing really fast,
I tell them slow
I look
down.
at them and I say, "Why are you dealing so fast? The casino's not going to pay you more. Why you?" I say that to them because I'm an idiot at the table. Okay. I like obese dealers. I like dealers that are really fat, okay? The reason why I like really fat dealers is because they're slower, usually, with the cards.
And you know why we want faster? More
is
hands
that mean
per
of me
hour
to say?
Mathematically.
Right.
We want more decisions per hour.
I like bigger dealers because they're usually more friendly. I don't know why that is, but in my case, they usually are. It's usually, I'm not going to give nationalities, but I will say Sometimes it is the more attractive dealer that is the sneaky one that'll take your money faster. That's all.
I like dealers that are table for table, and there's only a few places that still are, because then they have to be nice. You know, you get the old grumpy person that's in the tip pool and does not care.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like table for table.
So they're filming you this weekend with one of your
They
clients. BBC is, right? Tell us a little bit about
BBC, London Channel 5 will be at the Palms. My biggest female whale, we'll just say Miss R, is going to land in a private jet. They're going to film me picking her up and doing my thing. And
I love that.
Then we're going to go to the Chaos Pool and drink a lot. And then we're going to go gamble a little bit. She plays the wheel. She'll have a private wheel roulette. And then we'll go to Scotch 80. And then we'll go to the nightclub. So a whole day with her.
You know, you mentioned chaos. Do you think that nightclubs are a good investment at this point, or are they on their way out?
They're not on their way out, I can tell you that. Just too many players love them. I mean, they're here to stay. I remember when I first started, JD, there was a place called the Shark Club in Botany's, and there were no nightclubs. I wish I had more nightclub experience. But I think we're oversaturated. I'll tell you that. They're just too big. I mean, they spent $92 million on the Chaos Pool.
And they're paying Marshmallow $30 million a year.
I don't know if that's true, but I'm sure it is. I mean, they're spending tens of millions on DJs and Skrillex and Cardi B and all that. That's for sure.
God, it's just so crazy, this industry.
My department used to be 80% of the bottom line when I was at the Hilton for that 10-year run. Okay, now it's a third nightlife and entertainment, a third hotel and conventions, and a third gaming. I'm not the big D at the table anymore.
Well, you are kind of big in the boxing ring. I know you would kick my ass.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about that. You have a nice little amateur boxing career. I know you're fighting. Is it next week or the week after in San Diego?
June
right?
23rd, San Diego Hard Rock. I'm on the undercard. If I win for the 7th time, I'd break my own record as the oldest Nevada amateur to ever win. So I'm 55 now. I set the record last year at 54. And then I fight in a Masters tournament where there will be some older guys in July in Vegas. And then in August, I'm at Brooklyn Bowl.
Who wins this weekend? Tyson Fury?
Oh, yeah, huge.
No doubt, no question.
Yeah. And what about, man, I'm really happy with that last heavyweight fight, and I'm proud of him. And
really?
That was,
Who was your favorite fighter growing up?
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And now my favorite was Derek Harmon because he's my trainer, and Coach King, David Sample, because they corner me.
What do you make of a guy like Floyd Mayweather? Obviously one of the best defensive fighters of all time. Overrated, though?
Nope. Amazing. You can't hit him, and you have to beat him 7 rounds. And to me, and when I'm with all my coaches and friends, maybe might not like what he does outside the ring, but in the ring, he's a master.
So in addition to being a casino host and an amateur boxer, you also are a major chocolate distributor here in Nevada.
How did you know that?
Let's talk about that.
Oh, my God. How did you know that? Yeah. I do a lot of different, I work for 9 casinos. I do a lot of custom chocolate for a lot of casinos. How did you know that?
We had your popcorn at your party that one time, that white popcorn.
Yeah, no, that
was on.
I've got the patent on that.
Unbelievable. You have the patent on that?
No, but I know who does, and I have her locked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve does some unbelievable parties, by the way, and some of the eccentric guests that you have at your party. You never know if it's going to be Randy Couture.
Oh, yeah, he comes a lot.
You don't know if it's going to be like a strip club owner.
And your friend Chris was the current high-low champion.
Yes, he beat Randy Couture at that tournament.
Yeah,
that's right.
Correct.
You throw some great parties.
Brian and I didn't hedge.
I'm hoping to have you guys at the Hard Rock Pool, I'll know, this week, and we're going to do bikini tug of war. How cool would that be?
If ever you need a celebrity judge, please call me. I will gladly provide my services.
I love that you brought up that bikini thing we did with the chips. Because
I always remember that.
That's cool.
I've never had a host that did anything like that.
Cool.
This man is innovative. He knows how to treat his. I mean that. We only got about 30 seconds here left to go, but before I want to give out
SteveCyr.com.
Yes. See, he knows what I was going to ask.
Right on Instagram or on Twitter at Steve Cyr Vegas, at SteveCyrVegas.com. And I answer all questions, dude. And if you buy a book, of course, I'll meet you, autograph it. It's my pleasure.
Good. And the book, of course, is called Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Superhost. Yeah, the hour goes by very fast. Well, Steve, you're a great friend, and you are really, really good at what you do.
Wing time.
Yeah, we got
tap house wing.
We got to eat some of these wings, man. Hey, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
You and your cousin. You guys are awesome, and we're going to be watching the game tomorrow, so we're taking the night off tomorrow.
Yeah,
we will be back. Yes, we will be back on Friday, folks. The legend himself, Ken Thompson, coming up next. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you same time, same place. Well, not tomorrow, but Friday. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you Friday.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!